Hello everybody, welcome back to Surviving Mars, one of my favorite new games. And in the last episode, we found a water source here on Mars, which is right here. So we'll be setting up our second dome right about here, but that's going to be in a while. It's going to be 7 days. My first priority instead is twofold. We need to tap that water source, not only so we can make more fuel faster, but also so we can start producing polymers. Polymers are the first advanced resource in the game, and we need to be able to make ourselves self-sufficient on those because we're going to go through them very quickly. They're the cheapest resource out of the 4 advanced resources, but they are also the most, like, we're going to use the most. What's the word for that? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to use so many polymers that even though they're cheap, the price is going to add up, so we must be self-sufficient on those. And to make polymers, we need fuel anyway, so we're going to need a ton of fuel, is the point. Now, how do we tap this and start producing some stuff when we can't build domes? Well, luckily, fuel is not manned. Fuel producers are not manned. Fuel refineries. So, we're going to set up a little temporary station over here and get ourselves some water. The thing is, we can't get drones over here because we need a drone hub or a drone controller, and I believe that is what I'm going to do. Are both my rockets here? Yes, they are. Well, shit. This is going to take a while anyway. If we have an emergency, we can call in what is called a resupply pod, which costs 100 million to produce, which is pretty cheap in this game, but it can only hold so much, but it gets here much faster, and it doesn't have to be refueled. It just becomes consumed and turned into metal. But we're going to need some additional drones because I believe drone controllers start with only 4 drones? Not a full pack. So right now we're just waiting. Oh, wait, our rocket is ready, so I'm going to let it go. Good timing on that one. So it's going to go home. We're going to run some numbers at that point once it's back on Earth. And then we'll call in some help and see what we can do about that water source. Speaking of water, I ran some numbers, and it seems our water tower is running out of water faster than it fills, so we are going to have to do a little bit of work here. So I'm going to add an additional solar panel to each of our water generators.
I find myself missing things I never thought I would. I've basically been a vegetarian since my first semester in college. Still, I recently had a craving for a...
I don't know why I'm not talking over her.
Why. The same thing happened when I thought of Turkish Delight, the most revolting candy ever created. Have you experienced similar cravings? If you have, tell us. Let's listen to another song and think about it.
Thank you. Anyway, so by running this power line and hooking up a battery here, what I've done is I've now connected the 2 moisture vaporators here, and I can set them both to operate at night as well. That way it takes a little bit of pressure off our water tower because now these will be running 24/7, and this water tower will fill even at night. So that's at least one little step up I've done. The battery should be able to cover it, and we've doubled the power output so it fills the battery quickly, so the battery will happily be able to power both of the vaporators at night. See? I'm a good commander when I remember to turn things on. Hey, we produced some food! Okay. Not a lot. We only produced, it looks like, 8 units? 7 units? Oh shit. That's not good. Oh boy, we're going to have to call in for some food. Well, luckily the rocket's back on Earth, so let's do what we need to do here. All right, so we need to get an RC commander. We're going to add about 4 additional drones. How many does this start with? It transports, commands, and repairs drones. I don't remember how many this starts with. We'll add 4. That should be enough. And then we need, we'll get some food. That should be enough to get everybody covered. Food is extremely cheap. That should get everyone covered. Let's add 5 polymers, machine parts, and electronics. That still leaves us with $1.2 billion. That should be enough. There's no reason to spend money when we don't have to. Oh, I need a fuel refinery, because I can't make that on my own, I don't think. That would give me exactly $1 billion remaining. Okay, that's good enough. Oof. It's expensive, but it's good enough. So we're going to call that rocket down here. And the drone commander will be able to help set up shop at remote sites. That'll be our main way of getting more things and more domes eventually. Our rocket has arrived, so I need to scroll back over here to our main landing pad. Rocket malfunction. Ah, shit. They have chance cards in the game. Ah, shit. The satellite camera shows the rocket you were trying to land in standard Mars orbit. A small jet of liquid is gushing out from the side. Our Michael #1 rocket seems to have suffered a malfunction in her fuel tank. There are worries that the rocket won't survive the landing sequence. If the rocket lands successfully, we can fix the malfunction with some polymers. Okay. Well, luckily, jettison the payload in the land, attempt the landing with full payload, chance the rocket will explode. Luckily, because we have the rocket scientist trait that we picked when we started the game, activate manual control. I can land this one safely. Rocket will land safely with cargo. That is what we will do. Boop. So, having a rocket explode on you this early would be extremely devastating since I have no money. That would be horrible. And why would I want the payload to go away? That's even more horrible. So, there we go. Okay. Okay, yep, it starts with 4 drones. That's what I thought. Alright. So, I'm going to have these 4 drones reassign themselves to the drone commander. That's 8 drones, and then I'm going to recall them. So now our drone commander has all 8 of its drones. And we are going to drive all the way over here, and then I'm going to do some math. So what we need, because I don't think I can make a fuel thing yet. That's why I had one pre-made. Yeah, it consumes 5 power and 1 water and needs a maintenance of 1 machine part. Okay. So I'm going to do that manually. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. So we're going to put a universal stockpile, or universal depot here, even though it's too far from from the commander. And I'm going to have my transporter drop off the metal. And I guess while I'm here, I will also add a depot for fuel specifically. Where are you? Man, you are taking forever to get up here. Eventually, we'll add a drone hub up here instead of the remote-controlled commander, but one thing at a time. I didn't really want to spend the money on getting a drone hub, because that also costs cash. And, oh, speaking of which, something I didn't realize was here. Another tech we can get increases sponsor research by 100 beakers, which is a daily thing. Right now, because we chose the religious sponsor, we are not getting any research per day. We only get research from our lab. So instead, if we get this, we'll get a little bit every day. So I'm going to make that our next tech that we will research.
We have a soundtrack just right for the blue sunset light.
All right. So our commander is here. We will unleash them. And the first thing I'm going to do is build... Oh, I guess I need to get a water extractor. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That requires 2 machine parts and 6 concrete. Okay. So, never mind, guys. Go back in your little home. We're going to have the RC transporter handle that, so he's going to have to drive all the way back home. He will pick up 20 concrete And once he's here, he'll also pick up, like, I guess I should grab 10 machine parts. So this is going to take a few seconds. Here we go. Our little car has made the round trip. It is dumping off all of this stuff. Excellent. Okay, so you just keep getting your nearby metals, buddy. Alright. So now we'll deploy the drones, and now we need to build a water extractor. Now, the extractor, like all extractors, has that gray radius because it produces just a metric butt ton of garbage. So we need to deal with that. So I'll have my drones kind of speed up here. So the radius of a drone commander, as you can see here, is a much, much smaller thing than a hub. So eventually we will replace this with a hub. Eventually is the key word. Okay, and then we also need a solar panel. Let's put it... I think that's outside the range? No, it's not. By 1 hex. There we go. Yep. And then we'll run a power cable. Okay. And then we also need to make our fuel refinery, which will need its own power cable, or power panel. Doop. Production, fuel refinery. There we go. And then we'll add a depot for fuel. And the last thing we need to do is run a pipe. Like that. We'll get the RC commander to get out of the way a little bit.
And you're listening to Mars official radio, your reliable source for the music you love.
And the only real problem with this setup is that when things start being needed here, like polymers, then we're going to have to run the transporter back and forth to do it. I would prefer to get a polymer up here so we can hook these up to batteries instead. You know what? I'm just going to do that. What am I even doing? Whoa, game. Easy there. Getting all choppy on me. There we go. And we'll run 2 large panels and a battery. And once we start tapping this concrete, we're going to have to work around these things I'm making. This is kind of screwing me over in the medium term. It's, you know, but I need the water and I don't want to run this down here because this is where I want to put the dome eventually. So this is good enough where it is at the moment. And this water extractor will only produce enough water for the fuel refinery. It will not produce the full 5 production. It will only produce what is demanded. So this underground water vein will pond, whatever, it will be tapped the correct amount. Okay, so RC Transport 1. Come home and drop that off, and then it will pick up some polymers and then head back up. Meanwhile, the rockets are almost ready to go because during that time skip, we researched the smaller or the more efficient engines. So now it only takes 30 fuel to get a rocket off the ground, which is very much better. You can see here we're getting 230. Well, we were getting 230 science points per soul just from the research lab. I need to get more people into the research lab, and we just need more things overall. Once the founder stage is over, which is only in 2 souls, especially if we can get ourselves some farms, that's what I'll convert this to, because the hydroponic farms are just not a good long-term solution. They'll work for now, but it's not going to take very long before hydroponic farms become very not necessary. So we're going to grab 5 polymers here, and then we're going to come back up here, dump them off. So polymer makers do require manned a manned situation. Like, we need workers. We need 6 workers, I think, per shift of a polymer maker. So that's why we can stockpile fuel here. The fuel will go to the polymer maker, and we will start producing polymers on our own. But we need fuel, we need concrete, we need metal, we need more polymers. We're going to need a lot of stuff before any of that's going to happen. So it's going to take a wee bit of time. But hey, we're on Mars. That's all we have right now. We have nothing but time. Let me, in fact, see. Because one water extractor can cover the fuel refinery and a dome's farm. So let's place a dome, at least long enough for me to see where I want everything to be placed. That's probably a good location for it. I wish I could set which points of the hex the doors go versus the piping. This is probably for the best, putting it this way. Alright, so we'll plan the dome and immediately turn it off. But then we will place a landing pad here. Too far from the drone commander? That's a bit unfortunate. Let's put that there, and then we'll drive the commander south a little bit. So now we've got a battery here, so now I can run the fuel refinery and the water extractors at night. And now this should be within range. Yes, they will build. Yep, they're on their way. Slowly, but they're on their way. Wait, where are you guys going? Guys? Drones? Drones? Waste rock. They're going to... Oh, they need to get this little rock out of here before they build the landing pad. Okay, that makes sense. One building not working. Why? Ooh, that's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to be full of concrete. Okay, so I'm going to move the fuel depot here, and then we're going to get rid of this fuel depot. I'm going to bring our... What's our card doing, anyway? Now I'm having to do more things at once. Now I'm starting to have to multitask because of everything that's going on here. Let's get a concrete depot. There we go, and then they'll start in here, and the concrete extractor will continue. Excellent. So we have 267 units of metal, 280-ish units of concrete. That's a very good start. And we've, in fact, got enough stuff to build a second dome. It's just not worth it until we get everything else functional. Because, like, you know, why? I will eventually run a pipe this way. I can even take it off of this one instead. We'll attach a Moxie to make oxygen right around here. Run the pipe here. That would cover that. And then I would just need power. And then we would be good to go. So we are doing okay. That's still the only source of water we found, though. That's really not good. I hope there's water in the northeast side, but we may have to rely on getting the whatevers, the things that make water magically from the atmosphere. And that's going to get very expensive for us, but if we have no other option, shit, what can we do, you know? But all we can do for now, while the scanning towers do their work, is gather more materials. I can build another scanning tower if I wanted to, but I don't feel like spending the electronics for it, because electronics are the most expensive advanced resource, and holy crap, will they run you out of house and home very quickly if you let that cost get out of control. So we need to be very careful with that. But that's going to do it for today's episode. And I believe in tomorrow's episode, the founder stage will be over, and then we can start planning our second dome for real. So thank you all very much for watching. Don't forget to leave comments down below if you want anything named after you. Again, we're doing 8 episodes in this run, so if you do leave a comment, I'm not going to see it until after episode 8, but I will name stuff after you if you guys want to see this series continue. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode. Hey, one of our rockets can go. Bye, Gabriel number 1. Take care on your way home.